We're recording. We're recording. There's no countdown, so I never know. It just jumps on the screen. We're recording. We're on.
You know you're recording when you hear me open up a can. All right, fellas. A lot going on this week. A lot. We've got a lot of baseball. Obviously, RIP Rickey Henderson. The Yankees and Mets both made a bunch of moves. The Jets and Giants both still suck balls. Apparently, the Devils do not. And we have some videos. It's going to be a good show. I like this.
And it's Festivus.
And it is. We are recording this on Festivus, a.k.a. Christmas Eve. Let's start with let's start with the Yankees and get that out of the way real quick first. I don't even remember where we were last week. I think last week we talked about the Max Fried signing, and they've made like 8 moves since then.
Yeah.
It's hard to do on a weekly show to keep up with that much stuff. But Mike, I like the way this roster is coming together. Do you?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I think what they definitely needed was a better balance of vets and young players, and they brought in 2 former MVPs, Bellinger and Goldschmidt, which is amazing. I mean, Goldschmidt is older; he's 37. But I sent you that tweet by Ruben Sierra. Don't sleep on the old vets. So hopefully that'll add something to them. I did hear somebody on the radio, a producer, saying the Yankees roster last year is better than it is now. And I don't agree with that
Did you also hear that the Yankees roster also used to hook up with Cody Bellinger's wife?
Yeah, the entire roster.
No, I'm kidding. Holy crap, I'm kidding.
We can talk about that actually for a minute here too.
Stanton's ex.
Stanton used to pound out Cody Bellinger's current wife.
That is correct. Stanton used to. What a lucky woman that is. I mean,
I know, right?
Listen, first she gets Stanton, then she gets. Speaking as a gay dude, she gets Stanton, and she gets Bellinger. Like that bitch's pussy must be fucking fire. Fuego. I mean, she's locking down 2 studs. So good for her. But do you think that's going to cause any division in the clubhouse at all?
I don't. I mean, maybe so. Unless her puss really is that level of fire and Stanton misses her, then it could create some issues. But here's the thing: Giancarlo Stanton has like $200 million. I don't think he's hurting to get laid. You know what I mean? I don't think he's.
I think he's doing it right.
Yeah.
Last I saw, he was bench pressing Adriana Lima a couple preseasons ago. So I think he's doing all right.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about. We don't have to worry about any incel MLB player moments, Brian. I don't think, as far as I know, anyway. Who knows?
I mean, do you also think is Cody Bellinger stoned, or it just his face looks like that all the time?
He claims he's not.
It's just his face, I guess. Yeah. Hey, listen, Jazz, yes. Glaber, yes. They're even talking about people like you bring Glaber back on a 1-year deal. I guess I don't know.
I would.
Do we need him?
You do that, and the roster's finished.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But
it wouldn't be my first choice, but I would.
Yeah, but I would hope they would move on from him at have a real plan in place to move on from him.
Yeah, because we joke about Cody Bellinger being stoned, but I'm pretty sure Gleyber Torres runs the bases stoned. I mean that sincerely, not as a joke. There are little leaguers who don't make the mistakes that dude made in the base paths last year.
Right. Yeah, and that's what the guy on the radio
in the dugout real quick.
Yeah, that's what the guy was saying on the radio. You don't have Glaber, who's really became a really great leadoff hitter at the end of the year, and then you lose Soto, are the guys that got upgrades. But I think it's definitely an upgrade because let's face it, last year they had 2 guys, Soto and Judge, and then they had their bullpen, and then Stanton came alive in the postseason. So I like the way the team is constructed now.
Yeah,
I think they have more experience. I think they had to move on from some of the older guys, even though they brought in Goldschmidt. But
I want to actually mention one thing you said a second ago. You said don't sleep on the older vets that are coming in 1-year deals. In this case, it is Paul Goldschmidt. Here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize: Paul Goldschmidt is one of the kind of Iron Men of baseball. He's played over 150 games in almost every season over the last few years.
Yeah, he's never hurt.
The thing is, you got Ben Rice. You could put Ben Rice in against some of the righties, right? And then you could get Goldschmidt's number down maybe in the 120s or 130s and keep him healthier. You could get a really productive season out of him. I think it's a better signing than people realize. I really do. Goldschmidt's really good. Yeah. Everyone said 3-4 years ago, oh, he's washed every year. And you know what? On my fantasy team, I take him almost every year because he's available towards the end of the draft, and he's
always
awesome.
How do you play fantasy baseball? I would go insane.
Well,
I would go absolutely insane.
You have to set reminders in your phone to adjust your team like 3 or 4 times a day, every day. I'm not exaggerating.
That's too much for me.
It's really, really intense.
I'll pass. I will pass.
It's rewarding when you're like me. And last year, not to jerk, I'm going to jerk myself off right now.
Right
metaphorically,
now, OnlyFans, Nosebleeders right now. You're going to send out OnlyFans
subscriber content only.
But here's the thing: I have made except for this past year, I've been in the finals of my fantasy baseball league every single year for the last like 5 years in a row. So I'm pretty good.
You really are waxing your carrot right now. Jesus.
I am. I'm fucking blowing myself. I'm sucking my own cock right here.
Subscribe to the Patreon to watch Phil.
Anyway, yeah, donate to our Patreon. We need
the real show. Yeah.
We need the money. We need the money.
Paul Goldschmidt though is good. Yeah. And hey, maybe this is the year he hits his wall, but I don't think it's going to be. Especially if you lower that workload by about 20 or 30 games, that dude might seriously come out and pound. For a whole season. So
you just said load and pound.
He did. load, let him pound. I don't know, man. I don't know what's on my mind.
And Bellinger can play first.
Hey, I really shit the bed with my fantasy football team this year. I was doing well, but like I made the mistake of I was like, I'm gonna get Brock Purdy, I'm gonna get Deebo Samuel, I'm gonna get George Kittle. And then at one point, which was a good pickup, I picked up Jordan Mason because he did really well. He was a really good waiver wire pick. But that's usually the cardinal sin of fantasy is drafting everyone on the same team, because when you buy a week and you're fucked.
The Niners are out now.
Yeah, the Niners are out, but I did. I got into 5th place, which isn't great, but I was supposed to get in last place according to Yahoo Fantasy. So that's my flex. That's my tiny fucking stroke job to myself, Phil. Yeah. that's my pitiful stroke job is that I got 5th place in my fantasy football this year.
All right, Mike, what are you going to jerk yourself off about? Anything?
To continue the circle jerk.
I wasn't prepared to answer the jerk myself off question. I would have came with some ammo.
Well, you gotta be on your toes, Mike.
Something really exciting.
So.
You gotta always be ready to jerk yourself off.
You gotta always be ready.
We already talked about the Yankees. I mean, that's it. The Knicks look good, so there's something.
Yeah, we can mention that for a minute. I did want to hop over and do. I want to go over to Brian's Mets too for a minute. They re-signed Sean Manaea last night.
That's
so that team's starting to shape up too. Because remember, I said a few weeks ago they got Soto, good for them, but they have no starting pitching. Since then, they did re-sign Manaea, looking good.
Our mutual friend John Fox has been a Manaea evangelist for ever. He was like, we have to re-sign him. If good. I was Cohen, I would just re-sign him right away. It's just say your number, say your check. So that's good. I think it's going to be very competitive this year. I think the Yankees made some really good moves with Fried and Bellinger. And obviously we have Soto now, and I think there's still probably we're gonna have to just work on our pitching a little bit, but our hitting is pretty solid, and our offense is gonna be pretty solid. I don't know what's good with Alonso. That's gonna be interesting to see if he stay. I think if he's smart, he'll be I think he stays. Stay.
Yeah, he has no other market. All the other teams that they thought might have signed him have signed 1-year deals to other players. I think it was yesterday or the day before, 3 or 4 first basemen all signed. So there aren't that many teams in need of that type of bat right now. I
don't know. Maybe he goes to. I've heard that he might go to the Mariners, but why would you go to the Mariners when you could stay on potentially a World Series team?
Yeah, I'll answer that in a sec if you want.
But so I don't know. I'm excited about the Mets. I'm excited about the Devils. I'm a Nets fan, but I could kind of care less about the season. I'm excited to watch the Knicks. The Devils are killing it right now, and the Jets are fucking awful. They're the worst team in sports, and I hate them.
The whole Madden rating story. Yeah,
it's impossible.
Madden rating story. I mean, whether that's true or not.
That's what I want to talk about. I mean, there were 3 big stories that came out about Woody Johnson. And they all kind of come back to that he's probably getting advice from his grandson, who is a 17-year-old on Twitter. That's who's running the New York Jets right now. Is a 17-year-old on Twitter. Yeah. But yeah, the Jerry Jeudy story where he turned down getting Jerry Jeudy because he had a low rating on Madden, which it's like, I mean, that's not necessarily our problem, is not having a good wide receiver, but like it shows the level of stupidity this man is operating on.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh yeah, he's not good at like Madden. Every time I play Madden, he's like got the lowest ratings. And then the other one is that he gave up a higher draft pick to the Broncos because he wanted the last draft pick. And the reason why he gave up the highest draft pick to the Broncos is because he wanted another Mr. Irrelevant. He wanted another Brock Purdy. Like, what are the fucking chances? So, like, the last draft pick is going to be the most amazing fucking.
Hold on. He traded downward.
He traded downward. You heard that right.
Like, oh, if I pick him lower, he'll end up like the other guy.
There'll be a lightning in the bottom.
100%.
That's actually what he thought.
100%. 100%. I mean,
if that logic were true, then the pick number 199, which is where Tom Brady was picked, would be the hottest pick every year.
And he picked. I mean, it was like it wasn't like he. I mean, I guess if there's any defense, it was like pick number 255, and he traded it for 262. I mean, but the Broncos are like, yeah,
but why?
We'll yeah,
it's so irrelevant
because he thought he was gonna. Yes, because he thought he was gonna get another Brock Purdy. I mean, it's insane the stupidity this man is operating on, and I'm saying that he runs $1 billion company too. And I am a dumb comedian that lives in a studio apartment. I have like fucking $99 in my checking account right now. And I'm still like, I still have more intelligence than this man. How is that?
Yeah. Like I said, Woody Johnson owns a Band-Aid company, so that's all they do. They don't cure things. They just patch up.
I mean, he's probably a Nepo baby too.
Just put Band-Aids in everything
for years.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Knicks a minute ago, powder. Mike. You and I almost went to the Knicks game tonight. We almost did. We talked about it, and then we ended up not. We got to make it out to one game. I want to go to a Knicks game this year, but
we will. It'll happen.
We'll go on like a Monday night in the middle of January or something when it's like no one else is here and the prices are a little lower. Talk about that though. I'm kind of getting excited about watching this team a little bit every now and then. I've been listening to them on the radio on my my night walks with my dog and such, and they're crushing it lately.
They're coming together. I mean, it's they were comparing their records at this point last year, and they're a little better. So we saw how last year went. Obviously they gutted two big members of their team by trading them to Minnesota. But Karl Anthony Towns has been nothing but like Patrick Ewing level of center. We haven't had a guy that good at center since Patrick Ewing. We've had some decent centers over the years, but mostly no. And he's not only good, he's just dominant, and you never see that with the Knicks. You never see a dominant guy. Everybody's really good, but he's like MVP level so far.
This is awesome.
And I know it's early.
It is. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not as emotional about the Knicks as I am about other teams, but I will say this is that I'm starting to buy in. I'm starting to get my hopes up. But much like Brian's Jets, I know it's not a good idea because it's the Knicks. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, do I want to get my hope? Do I want to buy in?
I think
it's like that cautious optimism.
It's hard for me not to be a bandwagon fan, of the Knicks right now because I mean, like, I'm from New Jersey, so as obviously a New Jersey Nets fan, once they left, my family was like, we don't fuck with the Nets anymore because they left. But then I moved to Brooklyn when basically around the same time the Nets moved to Brooklyn. So I'm like, okay, I live in the neighborhood. I lived at like 10 minute subway from the Barclays Center. So I'll be a Nets fan. And then, but just the implosion of Kevin Durant and Kyrie and all
that whole generation.
All of that, which we actually went pretty far one year. We like lost to the Bucks. But I'm pretty sure we could have gotten to the finals if we didn't lose to the Bucks. And it was a close game. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of now I live in Jersey again. I feel like homeless when it comes to basketball. So I'm like, I really don't feel bad being a bandwagon fan for the Knicks or the Nets. I'm just like, whoever's being a Jets fan and being a Mets fan all my life, like I'm entitled to some joy. I'm entitled to some joy in my life. I'm entitled to just a little. I have sank with the ship so many times that I'm entitled to enjoy watching a basketball team. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Oh, sorry. That's how riled up I get from my trauma of being a Jets fan.
I like that. You feel like you're entitled to joy.
I'm entitled to joy. Yeah.
Let's move on. Mike, we got some videos. It's time for the reactionary part of the show. Are we doing the baseball one first, or which one are we?
Let's see. I guess we. Sorry, something from work just messaged me, and I'm like, wait, was I supposed to do something? And it was like, oh my god, no. So I almost had a little heart attack right there. Anyway,
this comes first, okay?
Talking
about jerking off with
YouTube
your drunk
channel
friends. That's what comes first, Mike. Okay.
Yeah.
Priorities.
I'm gonna get fired. Anyway, we lost Rickey Henderson, sadly. He had pneumonia. And his birthday is Christmas Day, as a matter of fact. Nobody else has mentioned that. He was close to his next birthday. It's sad. One of the greatest players
Only
ever.
65. Yeah. That's real sad.
It's really sad. And like, to me, when I first heard of baseball, it was the Yankees, and there was Winfield, Mattingly, Henderson, Willie Randolph. And those are the only guys I knew. And that's all you needed to know, because they were great. And unfortunately, they didn't win with those guys. But like everybody, like all these people who played with him, they're saying he was the best player they ever played with. Like he because he wasn't a big, tall, big guy who hit home runs. I think people underestimate how good he was. Like he didn't even make the All-Century team, which I find bizarre. So, and it's a lot. I know that's a big competition, but he definitely belongs. He's one of the greatest ball players ever. So, we found a couple commercials with Rickey Henderson. So we'll go to those. In honor of Mr. Rickey Henderson. This is a Rolaids commercial. I just pulled this last minute, so I don't know what to expect. Let's take a look.
Okay, let's go.
Rolaids.
What's his heartburn?
Now that spells relief.
Oh, I love the horror theming, and
I know.
That's funny.
I love the tribute to Clockwork Orange, where they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna torture this guy by brainwashing him with Rickey Henderson stealing bases." I wonder if that's what they had at like Guantanamo Bay. They're just like, "We're gonna just as torture, we're gonna make you watch Rickey Henderson steal bases over and over again."
No, as torture, they're going to make you. As torture, they're going to make you watch the New York Jets live streams.
That would be torture. I'd be like, that's too much. I'd be like, that.
Like, I'm against this type of torture and this type of punishment, sir.
Even for the most vile criminal, that's cruel and unusual to subject them to Jets game day footage.
I love the sweat.
Yeah, this guy, he looks like a poor man's Gary Carter. Just generic.
I thought it was for a second, and then they showed a few more close-ups.
And then, but here's the little weird part. He's eating like a whole big sub sandwich. So is the Rolaids for Rickey Henderson or the sandwich? If they got rid of the sandwich, I think it would have been more effective.
Yeah, I know. Like that's like so. Like, what's the commercial trying to say? It's like, is he like petrified? Like he's so stressed out about Rickey Henderson because he's a catcher that like he
can't throw him out.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of. It seems kind of obvious, but it's also flying over my head a little bit.
Yeah. And what kind of sandwich is it too? Is there too much black pepper on it? Is it like the Italian trio from Subway? Like, there's a lot of variables here, guys.
It looks meaty, a lot of cholesterol, a lot of nitrates. Yeah, definitely roast beef, something,
definitely got some peppers in it because he's sweating balls right now.
Yeah.
Just tripping.
Give this man some air conditioning.
But where does he pull the Rolaids out? There's no pockets behind the catchers. Or maybe there is. I don't know. There's something when he just pulls it out, it's gonna be there.
There is.
Yeah, the probably is.
Maybe I don't know. That's where they had their cigarettes between innings. So
yeah.
So that was good. That was good.
That was great. Yeah, that was fun.
Here's another one. This also has Nolan Ryan in it and some kids with some baseball cards. Again, I pulled this last minute. It said Rickey Henderson was in it. I hope he is. So let's take a look.
I'm Nolan Ryan, and this is the Big League in Baseball Collecting, the 1990 Panini album.
They're action shots, special photo stickers.
And my favorite players like
Will Clark, Cal Ripken.
Wowee, Rickey Henderson.
It has about 1 zillion stats.
It's awesome. There's an All-Star and World Series section.
And a chance to meet Nolan Ryan in the Panini sweepstakes. Available at supermarkets, drug, and convenience stores. No, Nolan, I thought you were taller.
Okay.
All right,
so he was
Henderson is
mentioned.
not in there. He was mentioned. There's a still frame of him, I think, right somewhere.
I think I had this sticker
held
book.
up a. This is still cool. Oh
Rickey
man,
Henderson.
R.I.P. to the Oakland A's. We gotta do more Oakland A's ads soon. One of our mutual friends is having a hard time with this Rickey Henderson death this week too.
Chico?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And this is like, we need a giant Texas Ranger, quadruple extra large. Look at the size of the book they had. Unless they did shrink Nolan down.
Well, yeah. The commercial is he's supposed to like. He's almost like going back in time, like a Benjamin.
He's feeling like a kid again. Yeah, that's the whole.
Yeah.
Oh, because
it must have been the steroids, I guess. I don't know. Do you think he did them? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if anybody did them, but I don't think Nolan Ryan did them.
I mean, I know steroids make your balls smaller. I didn't know they made you into a child.
Do they actually make your balls smaller, or is that just like an urban myth?
I haven't tried them. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. But
call Aaron.
I would know a thing or two about balls, but I don't. I'm pretty sure it just makes like. I'm pretty sure it like shrinks some organs because it like enhances like
others.
The others. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a doctor. What the fuck am I talking about?
I don't think it works that way. No. I don't think. Yeah. We need an oversized bottle of Scoped just for perspective. Yeah. This is like what's his name who directed Lord of the Rings? Everything was perspective, you know. Let's put the camera on this angle.
I do like how there is a random bottle of Scope there.
There is Scope in the back. Like what the hell? Ooh.
Scope.
Yeah. Hey, we need a product placement inside this commercial, okay?
But we need it very blurry and we need it very quick and like no one will notice. Yeah. Like someone like it was like okay, like they hated Scope, but the Scope spokesman was like just so persistent and they're like just put it in the fucking back so he shuts the fuck up. Like we gotta get some.
The sad thing is if you peeled the stickers off and put them in the book, they were worth less than if you kept them on the cardboard backing. So nobody really knew the value of baseball card stickers at the time. And it's just a shame because those kids would probably be rich right now. But they're not.
Well, those kids, this ad came out in 1990 and they were 7 or 8 years old. So they're all, you know, and they're
like, all right,
and that's their claim, and that's their claim to fame. And they keep telling, and they're at a bar somewhere and they keep being like, I was in a commercial with Nolan Ryan. And they're like, we don't care. You have cirrhosis.
You need to stop drinking.
You need to stop drinking.
All right, Mike. What do we got next here? Do we have?
Let's go. I think we'll save the best for last. Let's go to this is another baseball one. This is
of course. Sosa. Sammy Sosa this week apologized for his steroid use.
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah.
Without mentioning it.
It reminded me of this commercial from back in the day. I like this commercial. It's a cutesy, wholesome commercial. Play it. Play it. Just play it.
Sammy Sosa. Hook my friend Sammy Sosa up with one of those special tacos.
Hey! Tacos and Pepsi. The perfect double play.
Whoa.
It's the cola.
Whoa.
There you go. Crosstown rival there. Playing a quick one on Sammy Sosa.
Wow, look at that. That he can go to jail for that. That was a crime. I don't know. But that was like ballsy.
I can't believe they had.
Look at the acting job here from Sammy Sosa. Not the worst acting job an athlete's had in a commercial we've seen.
Look at the eye roll. Yeah.
Honestly, he sold it. He was like, "Yeah, you know, I can eat tacos. All right, I can drink Pepsi. I've done that before.
With steroids in his taco.
I was also expecting like the taco to be like so like spicy
Massive.
that like
Yeah.
you turn like the camera turned to him and the fan's face is like whoa, and then he turns back and his skin is entirely bleached. Like, Sammy,
the taco bleached his skin.
What happened? It changed your skin color completely. This taco.
That would be funny if you try to play that as the origin story of why he looks so white now.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
So, like, he looks as white as this wall that's behind me now. You've seen him in the last like 5
bleached
years.
his skin.
Or so.
Yeah,
he does skin bleaching. It's so crazy.
I thought this was almost a Pepto-Bismol ad. If you listen to the sound. Right here. Like that's a Pepto-Bismol moment right there, right? Like it's tacos. You know, it's almost a Taco Bell ad, pretty much. But then he went, it's hot. So
there's also like so much subtle racism of having like Sammy Sosa eat a taco and like Arriba in the background, but like
yeah, it's very
like they should just like are they just gonna have a sriracha band that like distracts Sammy Sosa, and then the White Sox fan is like, hey, just kidding, I knew I would. Distract you with a sriracha band this whole time.
I'm part of ICE. I'll take you away. You know, yeah, that's what was going to happen.
Hey, I caught you, Sammy.
You know your papers.
Well, I think that this kid looks like he is also Hispanic, so it's minority on minority crime, so it doesn't count, right? I think that's the rule. I think that's.
I guess it's and obviously it takes place in Chicago too.
Yeah,
you know what I would have wanted to see? I would have wanted to see Sammy Sosa at the Wiener Circle. Do you know what the Wiener Circle is?
No.
Is that the restaurant where they're really mean to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just like that would have been a better commercial if they just had like the Wiener Circle just like curse him out.
Yeah. Be like, listen, guys, no, we're filming today. No racial slurs. Okay, just like the next 20 minutes. Just.
Yeah, don't say anything about his mother, and don't say anything about the size of his penis, please.
Yeah, I like how they had to give him a Cubs jacket, otherwise we wouldn't have known that was Sammy Sosa. I have no idea.
Well, you know, I was just thinking about that. I like that they gave him the jacket because it almost looks like this is what he'd wear on his day off. You know, he wears a jacket rather than because nothing drives me crazier than when they have dudes in full uniform in places where the full uniform doesn't make sense.
Right, he's out shopping.
Yeah, this actually makes sense. He's he's wearing a Cubs jacket on his day off with a little khaki and button up or whatever. You know, it's believable.
That I wonder how many takes that took. You're right. That is some good acting. You know, you can't fake that. Unlike power hitting. So, but anyway.
There we go.
What? Oh, here we go. All right, let's move it along. We got one here. Phil, you found this one. LA Rams with the late great Kevin Greene.
Yeah, so the I think the Jets lost to the Rams yesterday, right? So I always try to keep it related to the current teams that the Jets or Giants are losing to. So the Jets and Giants lost.
The current team they're losing to. Just they don't win. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, they don't.
They suck.
So he said it was funny.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right,
I was just going to shit on the Jets again, but you know, I could fill up a whole podcast about that.
McDonald's McLean Deluxe, Kevin Greene.
I know what you're thinking. Who? Story of my life. You won't see me in a Diet Coke commercial. You just don't get famous by being 91. Take McLean Deluxe. It's 91% fat-free, but all people talk about is its big burger taste. No one remembers 91.
Hey, you! Out of the locker room! McLean Deluxe, unforgettable taste at McDonald's today.
Sorry, Greene. Greene. I gotta write that down.
that was a curveball. It's like we need an ending.
Forgot about him. There we go.
We need an ending. Let's just make that up. Yeah, he kind of looks like Jake Paul before Jake Paul, right here, right? Like just
a little bit
obnoxious YouTuber. So Kevin Greene was great, though.
I mean, he looks like an uglier version of Jake Paul. I feel like.
Right. Yeah, this was before athletes decided to.
This is when the athletes could eat McDonald's every day and still go on the field hungover and strung out. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm hungover. I'll just eat McDonald's and then I'll play the most intense sport that any human being's ever played, and I won't puke everywhere. That's basically basically this era. What a time to be alive.
Look at it. Look at this serial killer font they put on the screen here.
It's like ransom note
that
font.
That does look like the Riddler like gave like a message to that he was going to have a terrorist attack of like all football teams through McDonald's burgers.
Kevin Greene, the Riddler's Greene. Yeah,
I like that's where your brain went, Mike. I do. I really
cartoons. I got Batman toys here.
I was just gonna let that one go. I was just gonna let that one cook, Phil.
Nope.
I was like, oh, shit.
The Riddler. Yeah. Right. So this is I hear nowadays somebody said that the players like those little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like they're like the little squares.
The Uncrustables.
Uncrustables. We lost Brian.
He'll come back. Don't worry.
He'll be back. Yeah, it gives him like a burst of energy during the game.
I forget. There was some statistic where they went through like the same amount of Uncrustables as like a bunch of like a small town somewhere or something. Like it was something about that. I don't remember what it was. The meme's not in front of me.
Well, I actually watched a clip. It was Billy Crystal on Late Night with Conan O'Brien. This is back in the 90s. And they go to Yankee Stadium, this old Yankee Stadium. And they were talking about how the players, they had like cookies and there was like peanut butter and jelly like in the locker room. Like it must be like a traditional thing that they eat that stuff. So I guess McDonald's isn't too far off to have
wasn't Wade games famous for eating fried chicken before every one of his starts? So that was like his thing.
Who?
Wade Boggs, formerly of the Red Sox.
Is that why they call him the Chicken Man? Is that why? That could be why.
That might be. I think that's why that was.
Yeah.
Anyway, as far as this commercial goes, this was fun. It was enjoyable. It was exactly what you expect out of an early 90s McDonald's ad. It's not the best lit in the world. A lot of weird close-ups because it's the early 90s.
Yeah.
We're getting rid of the big hair from the 80s on the women. We're not quite done with the big hair, you know?
Yeah.
That was right about. We're not quite done, but we're shrinking it down.
Yeah, it is. Down. Yeah. He's still got a mullet that was kind of phasing out, but this was like a transitional period in American culture.
It looks like a good burger, though. I'm not gonna lie, as McDonald's burgers go.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we got there? Do we have one more? Are we doing the press conference?
Yeah. So we've been saving this for a long time. We're finally getting to it. You can intro it. Go ahead.
So this happened 15 years ago. We mentioned Mike Leach on the show a few months ago, and I said we're going to do a whole bunch more of him. This is quite possibly his most infamous moment, though there are many more, and I'll definitely dig those up. This happened for context, I have to set this up a little bit, Mike, where he was coaching the Texas Tech Red Raiders at the time, and they just suffered a brutal loss. And this is him lamenting the loss in the press conference. And this, believe it or not, actually, no, this is very believable if you know me. This actually got me interested in watching college football because I was like, whoever that guy is insane, and I'm going to watch whatever he does from now on. And then I started watching games just to kind of see what some of these weirdo coaches would say. This dude is great. He did pass away, unfortunately. He was one of my dream guests, but that will definitely never happen now. But yeah, this is Mike Leach reacting to a team that he coached losing a game 15 years ago.
Here we go.
As coaches, we failed to get through to them. As coaches, we failed to make our coaching points and our points more compelling than their fat little girlfriends. Now, their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear, which is how great you are and how easy it's going to be and how, we had a whole bunch of people. Everybody wanted to win the football game, but nobody wanted to play the football game. Well, that defies every level of work ethic that exists with regard to football. And as coaches, we have to solve our failure on reaching them, and the players have to listen. And I'm willing to go to fairly amazing lengths to try to make that happen. I don't know if I'll be successful this week or not, but I am going to try, and there will be some people inconvenienced. And if it happens to be their fat little girlfriends, too bad.
That was just an epic level of what? Wow. You can't do that.
That is a man that doesn't care.
We lost Brian again.
We lost Brian again. We did. No, I love. Here's the thing. For those of you who don't really follow college football, and I'm not like a hardcore college football guy, but I did watch a ton of games with this guy coach over the last decade or so, because there are certain people that just fascinate me. And I read this guy's book and everything. I recommend to anybody. If you ever bored and you want to see really weird press conferences that will make you actually laugh out loud, go down the rabbit hole of this dude on YouTube, because he says so much just completely off the rails, off the wagon stuff. Like he answers whatever question he wants.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you asked him.
I want what I wish, because I've seen this before, what I wish was like a counter press conference from the fat little girlfriends. Like the fat little girriends get together and they're like, it has nothing to do with any of this. First of all, this guy has no chin. Who is he calling fat? He's got he's got zero chin. His fucking puffy face. So with literally no jawline and no chin, just straight neck. Who is he calling as fat?
Yeah. It must have been a time to be at that school where Bobby Knight was there as the basketball coach, and Mike Leach was the football coach, and just the toxic nature of it.
Oh my god, that's great.
Of these people coming out of that school, like, what did we just go through?
Well, Bobby Knight threw chairs. The guy. I don't know about Mike Leach. Mike Leach was just a pig, but
he wasn't violent or anything. Mike Leach never did that kind of punishment. I read in his book one time that one of his athletes was disobeying him, so they set up the kid's desk, like his study desk, at like the 50-yard line, and they made him do his homework in the snow, like just to mess with him. But like he never threw a chair, as far as I know. So one thing too that's worth mentioning with this press conference is obviously this caused a bunch of controversy. This was played on ESPN on loop for like days afterward. They sat him down and asked him to explain himself, and I swear to God, his answer, I couldn't find this video. They probably took it down. They asked him about this, and he goes, "Well, when you're down with the brothers like I am, you can say those kind of things." Or he said something to that effect.
He just doubled down.
Like, he's amazing. This man is so fascinating to me, and that's why I wanted to bring the fat little girlfriend's press conference to the show. And there's going to be a bunch more. We're going to do a few about his like dating and marriage advice. We're going to do a few like sci-fi theories he has. This man is a comedy goldmine, and I just. Again, this is my Christmas present to you, Mike, is to bring you into the world of the fat little girlfriends.
I mean, again, like it's just funny that someone is like he's like calling other people fat, and he looks like dog shit. Like he's definitely got sciatica. He's definitely got his beer gut. He has no jawline. It's just ears and then his face. Like he has zero jawline whatsoever. Like who the hell is this guy calling it? Anyone fat.
I like the audio here. Like he's being so repulsive in the press conference, and then you go to this and right here. He's so nice. Like,
players have to listen to amazing lengths to try to make that happen. I don't know if I'll be successful this week or not, but
thank, appreciate it. Hey, love you.
He's like, if I could give head like these gals, then then the fellas would show up every single day on time. But sadly, I can't.
They're fat little girlfriends. Wow. What a time to be alive. 2008. Time to be alive. We haven't reached the Me Too movement yet, so I guess this is this was the boiling point. This is what
this was definitely pre-Me Too.
Or my favorite thing about that too is he says it twice in the beginning. And then, because for most people, that would be like the breaking point, like the fat little girlfriends. Like that'd be the end of the speech. He just says it nonchalantly and just keeps going with it, and then he just does it again right at the end. It's amazing. It's perfect.
That is hilarious. And he I don't know what girlfriend pissed this grown man off so much that he's just like, fucking Jessica. I swear to God, fucking Jessica. She screwed up my linebacker. I can't stand her. Like I don't know. That is a level of psychosis that you see in college sports. Like you don't get a human being like this talking to NFL, like being like, Joe Burrow's fat little girlfriend is the reason why he's playing like shit. Like that doesn't happen ever. You have to be. I don't know. I have a theory. As fun as college sports is to watch, like you kind of have to be a loser to be like very rabid about it, and like that's kind of what I think Mike Leach is a little bit. He's just a guy that he never actually grew up, and that's why he hates on basically these children's girlfriends.
Right. Yeah, they are.
That's why he
kids.
gave a whole press conference about that. Is because he's
young...
like, football is the only thing he ever cared about.
Yeah,
and
he's stuck in that world.
A loving relationship with a woman is like disgusting. Okay, there's an eye formation we need to study.
You love football first. Women come second or third at best. Unless at halftime.
He is super gay for football. He is he's
football gay for football. Yeah. He's football sexual. Exactly.
He's football sexual.
That describes a lot of straight men I know, but that's a whole different conversation.
Phil,
I think.
I do have a question. What year did this come out?
It was about 15 years ago. I think it was 2009 or early 2010. I believe it was 09. If I had to put a gun down.
08, 09. Yeah.
And did you just find this like years ago going down a YouTube rabbit hole?
No. I actually remember watching this. I was on break at my old job. This is back when I worked at the casino years ago. And you know how like in every break room, there's at least one of the multiple TVs in the break room that always has ESPN on. No matter where you work in the world, there's always the sports TV.
There's always
I would always sit near the sports TV because that's where either the Yankees or Red Sox games are playing. And they were playing this on TV, and I was watching this, eating my cafeteria food, and I was just like, holy shit, that was amazing. Because think about it. Compare that to any baseball press conference you've ever seen in your life. That is... It's above and beyond. It's crazier in terms of like the realm of acceptability. And so I just remember thinking like, I'm going to follow whatever that guy does in his career because whatever this is going is going to be entertaining. And then so, I started learning about Mike Leach and started learning about all the stuff he actually, believe it or not, the whole reason why there's more of a passing game in football as a whole now, you actually could attribute to him because he was the first guy to do the true air raid offense. That's a fun little. If you ever hear anybody talk about the air raid, he was the guy who made that up. Or not made it up, but he
read his book.
Yeah. He had a book that came out years ago called "The Swing Your Sword." It was an autobiography about like how he like went into coaching, and it's really interesting. It's a funny ass book. He's a funny dude.
Fat little bitches.
Swing your sword.
Why women are awful. Chapter 1, and then it's just
it's like JD Vance.
Whole book. Yeah.
Well, the swing your sword thing, like you mentioned, the title is weird. Is because one time to like fire his team up, he brought a sword into like practice.
Oh, what a guy!
The guy is he's on a different wavelength, and that's I like people like that. That just kind of they're a little bit weird, and I just wanted to bring that to the show here to bring the fat little girlfriends moment. We'll do more Mike Leach on the show for sure. Yeah.
Brian's camera is still off. But that's okay. We're done. We don't see you though.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
No, you've been blacked out since you came back.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. You didn't see me just
that was on purpose. I don't know.
No, we did. I didn't do anything. So
all right. Well, either way, this was a lot of fun. Guys, have a happy Festivus, whatever holiday you celebrate.
Enjoy your fat little girlfriends at home.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year.
Yeah, all that
happy
holiday meal.
All right. Enjoy.
Peace out. See you next week, guys.
Yep.